obviously we focus a lot on the quarterbacks when you talk about this offense, but when you guys look back at the tape as receivers, what are you seeing that has hampered things a little bit from your perspective?
That we weren't perfect ourselves. We had some plays. So I can specifically think of myself, a play that I left out there. And kind of as a receiver core, we have every game is kind of like that though. You look back and we could have been better here or there, but offense is a collective thing, and definitely as a receiving core, you try to do everything in your power to help the quarterback succeed, and we definitely had our share in some of that, not helping him to the best of our ability.
And forgive me if you were asked this yesterday, I missed you in the locker room, but just obviously you've been around this team, you've heard when the fans are booing and things of that nature. A day later, how do you kind of process that, obviously, with what their reaction is versus what you said last week, that any decision that has to be made can't be just made in a microwave type sense, if you will?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think obviously those type of predicaments, when I can pronounce my words, those type of predicaments, obviously, makes people feel a certain type of way, makes you want to change, but it's going to happen. That's what happens. When the products you put out there on the field isn't up to the standard, isn't up to the level of expectation, and those type of things are going to happen. And ultimately, the only thing you can do to change that or prevent that is to change the product that you're putting out there on the field and put a good product out there, and they'll quickly turn from boos to cheers.
All right. Thank you.
Charlotte Carroll.
Hey, Darius. We just spoke with Brian Dable, who said at the QB position they're evaluating everything. Have you heard anything on who's going to be the starting QB this week?
Yeah. I haven't heard anything. To the best of my knowledge, Russell Wilson's our starter. He's been our starter. I don't know any other information other than that, but yeah.
Sorry to kind of put you in that position, just left it hanging with Dable, so got to ask when we have the opportunity. But why... Are you okay with that decision? I mean, you said yesterday you believed Russ gives you guys the best chance to win. Is that something you still agree with?
Yeah, I mean, I like to support. I believe it's the job of everybody, the other 10 people in the offense, to support the quarterback, whoever that may be. So Charlotte Carroll was the quarterback. I'm going to try my best to support Charlotte in being the quarterback of the New York Giants. But ultimately, we don't control who that person is. So, like I said, to the best of my knowledge of now, it's Russell, and if the powers that be see that there's a change there, then I'll do my best to support whoever's in that position next.
Thanks, Darius. And you guys don't want me as the quarterback.
Dan Duggan.
Hey, Darius. Me neither. Dable said that the team meeting, he's evaluating everything. I'm just curious, what was this meeting like today? Was it any different than a typical Monday team meeting?
No, it wasn't particularly different. I mean, every Monday we go over the film kind of as a team, and he'll show, good, bad, things that, we need to keep doing or build on, and things that obviously weren't up to the standard or mistakes that we made that we need to eliminate. And that's kind of the general flow of how our Mondays go.
Maybe it'll put you in an unfair spot because nothing's been announced, but Dable did leave it open. You were here in 2019, obviously in a different place in your career, but what do you remember about that kind of changing of the guard, and any lessons maybe you learned that if and when that does happen here?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've kind of said it. I said it a little bit yesterday after the game. I've kind of said it in the past, but even if you look back at 2019, when we had this similar situation with Eli and DJ, DJ's time with a Giant didn't end in a amicable fashion. And a lot of people have a lot of reasons for that, but probably some of that was the fact that he was thrown in the fire week 3, my rookie year, and asked to go out there and try to win football games, while you're still trying to figure the game out. And like I said, I mean, we just played a guy yesterday who didn't play at all his rookie year, and he's probably going to go down as the greatest player ever. So if he can benefit from waiting and learning, anybody can. And it's not just him. Lamar Jackson waited. A lot of quarterbacks in this league, they took their time. They had a chance to grow, had a chance to learn and watch, and ultimately, I want Jackson Dart to be a perennial All-Pro, Pro Bowl, Super Bowl winning quarterback one day. And Andy Reid thought it worked, and they've been to a few Super Bowls in his time. So why not let him wait while he can wait?
Gotcha. Thanks.
Paul Schwartz.
You got me?
Got you now.
Hey, good, thanks. we've asked you a lot about the stress of losing and things like that, and offense not scoring. Do you ever think to yourself, if I got here at a different time, things would have been better for me and for the team and the offense and my ability to win games?
You mean like if I got at a different time, like year wise?
Well, I mean, you are what you are age wise, but I mean,
Yeah.
players arrive to a franchise at certain periods in that franchise's development.
Yeah.
You got here when the development was low, and you haven't been able to get out of it as a franchise. Other guys got here when the team was on the way up and benefited from that success. You ever think about that kind of stuff?
I do, but at the same time, if I were to sit up here and say that I wish I would have gotten here in 2010, right before 2011 season, then I clearly don't think of myself as a very good football player. Because if you think of yourself as a good football player, then you think when I get there, and if I can get some people to go with me, then I'll be part of the reason why the franchise trends in that direction. And so that's been my focus since I've been here. I've tried to better myself as a player. I think we've compiled a lot of good players in my time here. And, ultimately, at some point, once you compile the talent, it's time for that talent to then propel the organization in that direction. There was a gap between 1990 and 2007, right, of Super Bowls. But at some point for 2007, a group of guys came in and that talent then rose the Giants back up to Super Bowl level. So, I think my focus, and I think everybody's focus on this team that's a player on this team in this current era, is to be one of those guys who pushes the Giants back in that direction.
You're the longest tenured offensive guy, right? Dex is the longest tenured defensive guy. Do you ever fear getting desensitized by losing?
I personally don't, because I hate losing. I mean, I hate losing anything. Ping pong, checkers, Apple Jacks, whatever. Apple Jacks is cereal. Jacks, that's what the game is. But, yeah, I mean, I don't think, there's ever a point where, you walk away from the game and you're like, we lost. Oh, well. Every game sucks because guys put a lot into it. This game is hard. It's not golf where you're just swinging a club. Like, you're getting hit. Your body hurts. You're fighting. So, I don't think there's ever a point where, you go out there and you're like, yeah, man, I want to keep showing up for practice, banging every day, and then go out there and lose. Nobody wants that.
There's only one other person waiting, so let me ask you one more quickly.
Yep.
Will you, in your heart and your soul and your mind, go out Sunday against one of the best teams in the league, undefeated team, no matter who's playing quarterback for you, and believe with every fiber of your being, so to speak, we're going to win today? Or, because so often you have not, you know what I mean? You would be human nature to say, I hope we win, but I don't know. I mean, what take me in your head on Sunday, do you think?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think human nature would say that, but I think that's what makes people in the NFL the 1%, is that you're supposed to be different than the average person who would think that way and who would operate that way. And, again, regardless of what offense we're up against, I mean, we're a team that touts ourselves having one of the best defensive fronts in the NFL, and I believe them to be that. And I believe them to be able to neutralize any offense on any given Sunday. And when they do so, then it's on our turn on the offense to go out there and score points so that they can rush and get sacks and get interceptions. So, this thing all works together, and ultimately as an offensive player, I gotta do my best to help us get in the end zone and create explosives, and as is everybody else on the offense.
Thank you, Darius. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Last one, Jordan Renan.
Hey, Darius, what's going on, man?
Yo.
You obviously, have your preference and think it would be beneficial for Jackson to sit and wait. What would you think if they do name him the starting quarterback, though?
I mean, if they do, look, he's talented. He's shown himself to be able to learn fast. I think he's capable of being an NFL quarterback. I think he's capable of being a good NFL quarterback. But, if they do, and if we do have a lackluster, performance, maybe a week or two, it's like, well, then if that's the case, give him some time. Give him some grace. Don't show up and boo him a game or two in if he doesn't do well, which I don't expect him to do well. But I'm just saying the reality is it might not. So if that's the case, like, give him time to grow, give us time to gel, and, let him be an NFL quarterback and let him figure out what that is and learn and grow and learn us as players, playing with us players, and give him a chance to grow and become a good quarterback. It's something that I feel like Daniel Jones probably didn't get the chance to do is get the chance to become a good NFL quarterback. And, something that I hope that Jackson Dart will get the chance to do if he does get the opportunity to play.
And what has he shown you? Like, I know you actually haven't probably spent a lot of time working with him directly, right? But what has he proven to you, and what has he shown you so far?
Yeah, so you come in as a rookie, like you don't know everything, right? You don't know exactly how to prepare, how to film watch. Like every meeting that Jameis and Russ is in, he's in. Every meeting that we have with Russ, he's in. He's listening, he's watching, he's preparing, he's understanding, he's comprehending. And then he goes there and practice, and he obviously, he runs a scout team. But when you're on the scout team, you're up against, again, we tout ourselves as a really good defense. He's up against one of the better defenses in the NFL. And he's operating, and he's finding ways to complete the passes, navigate the pass rush, those type of things. And I think he does that well day in and day out. But from a mental aspect, which I think the majority of quarterback is mental, I think he does a good job of paying attention in those meetings, and he's been attentive, and he's prepared himself well.